It's such
I'm going to speak now.
Oh, I know. I was just going to say a few words
What were you going to say?
About the lecture.
Oh, about the lecture.
About the lecture. Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for bearing with me, Miriam. It's such a pleasure to have you all here. Such a pleasure to have Miriam here to speak for the Peter Roberts Memorial Lecture. So what is the Peter Roberts Memorial Lecture? Well, Peter and Anna Roberts were the founders of Compassion in World Farming. I'm Philip Limbury. I'm proud to be the Chief Executive of Compassion in World Farming. Proud also to have worked with Peter and Anna, the organization's founders. Favorites, yes. And I did get a text earlier, so I'm obligated to tell you this, but please don't tell the world that Peter and Anna Roberts are my parents-in-law. I married their youngest daughter, so there you go. But that's between us. So thank you so much for coming here. Compassion in World Farming is an international animal welfare organization. We were founded by Peter Roberts because he, as a British dairy farmer, became concerned at the rise in factory farming. The rise of keeping chickens in cages so small they can't stretch their wings. Pigs kept in crates where they can't turn around for weeks at a time. The mother pigs made to face the wall. Cattle kept in feedlots where they're fed corn instead of grass, and they're kept in dusty, grassless paddocks. He saw that coming in the 1960s, and he wanted to do what he could do to stand up against it. And thankfully, through the work of the organization he founded and wonderful people as we have here today, we've pushed back. We've got many laws in place, and we're working with more than 1,000 companies worldwide to get groundbreaking animal welfare commitments in place. We are making progress, but there is still so much more to do. And so to talk about the essence of compassion, I think. Very much looking forward to welcoming to the floor our very special Peter Roberts Memorial Lecturer, someone who needs no introduction.
I wouldn't let you introduce me.
Exactly.
I stopped him.
Someone who is described by The Guardian as the naughtiest national treasure, Miriam Margolyes.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Pete, very much. I don't think I've ever been so scared of doing a lecture, because I don't know a fucking thing about compassion in world farming. Compassion in world fucking is I could manage, but I love animals, and I said, when they asked me if I would talk to you today, I thought, well, yes, all right, I will, because it'll hopefully bring in some money. Shall I? Can you manage up there? You all right? Hello. But it is something that I am quite genuinely concerned about. I mean, I'm concerned about the Palestinians as well, but and people think, I suppose, that you have to choose between animals and Palestinians. You don't. You can care about everything. You can care about the world, and I hope we all do, because at the moment the world has never been worse, has it? Honestly. I mean, I'm about to be 84, and I don't think I've known it so horrible as it is now. But particularly within our own lives, within our own kitchens, I suppose, we can make a difference to the comfort of animals. No one loves food more than me. No one. I challenge anybody to eat as much, as often, as greedily, as selfishly as I do. But I have learnt a few things because I am concerned that the level of cruelty has gone too high. We can't deal with it. How many, agriculture is the cause of most of the cruelty to animals in the world. Am I right about that?
You are, yes. It's the biggest cause of animal cruelty on the planet.
That's shocking, isn't it? What we are doing to animals is the worst that can be done. And not just animals, but the thing that matters, I suppose, almost more than it should in a way to me, is fish. I'm Jewish, you see. Smoked salmon is a religion for Jewish people. And, Christians don't quite understand. We feel sorry for you, Christians. I'm being very honest here. I need to have smoked salmon in my life, but I cannot cope with the truth of what I discovered when I went to Tasmania. I love Australia. It's a wonderful, extraordinary continent. And on that continent, in that continent, there's a little island, Tasmania, of unparalleled beauty and sparkling seas and forests, and nature is supreme there, except humans have taken over, and particularly nasty humans. And you know what we all want more than anything else? I want smoked salmon, but the rest of the world seems to want money. Money, and money is at the root of all these problems. And what is happening, and I want you to really imagine this, that in the sea, in the beautiful, used to be pristine waters of Tasmania, there are tanks of fish. And in each tank, there is 1 million fish, or there are 1 million fish. Think about it. And the tanks are not much bigger than this auditorium. And 1 million fish are swimming around, bumping each other, tearing each other. And just like we don't like to be particularly close to people, neither do fish. So they get knocked with fish that are swimming close to them, and they bite them. And the skin is revealed, and it becomes infected. And then the people that run these tanks decide that they need antibiotics to stop infections. Now, you know what happens when fish eat antibiotics, and we eat the fish. We eat the antibiotics. They can't get rid of them. And the other thing that happens in those tanks is lice. Lice are swarming over the smoked salmon, over my smoked salmon, and yours, I suppose, if you like it too. Imagine how wicked that is, but nobody's supposed to know about it because it happens offshore and people are not speaking about it. But the people who live in Tasmania have to deal with antibiotics in the water, lice and salmon shit, which is no nicer than your shit or mine, flooding into the seas and contaminating the other fish, destroying the gene pool of fish, and destroying the taste and the joy of fish. Now, I'm supposed to be speaking on behalf of an organization that wants me to eat only plant-based food. Well, I haven't quite got there yet, I'm afraid. I can't quite eschew some of the things I know I should. And smoked salmon is one of them. But I've made a rule. I will only eat line-caught salmon, not farmed salmon. And if you want to save yourself from cancer and liver disease and everything else that you can think of that you get from antibiotics that you keep imbibing, absorbing, and so on, then you would be wise to eschew salmon except line-caught salmon. And you can only get it. Here's the commercial, and I'm not paid for this, by the way. It's called Leaf, L-E-A-F, and you can only get it from Sainsbury's and that middle-class paradise, Waitrose. And of course, those of us who are able to afford such shops are all right. We can go there and buy it. But poor folk can't, and there's increasing numbers of poor folk, unfortunately. Hello, do come in. So I want you to take seriously the instruction. It's not a request. It's an instruction. Do not eat Tasmanian salmon. Wherever you see it, do not eat it, because you will damage yourselves and, by extension, the world if it continues. Unfortunately, the same is true in Scotland. Who would have expected it? I mean, I'm half Scottish myself. Who would believe that the Scots would allow their fishing industry to be contaminated in that way? But they do. And it's greed. It's money, folks. It's money. And so everybody is prepared to do anything almost to get an extra bit of cash. I would like to say I'm not being paid for this, am I?
No.
No.
Bless you.
Well, I don't mind that because I'm making enough money doing the other stuff, you know. But it is important that everybody realizes what they're risking, what you risk when you let compassion die, when you forget about the animals and how they're reared. It's very easy, because I've always loved animals all my life. I never thought I'd have to speak in front of a lot of people about something I don't know nothing about. I'm just speaking from my heart, not my head. I can only tell you that animals are being trundled across great deserts because the EU is prepared to treat them as badly as they are. And we got rid of that, didn't we? But it's coming back, am I right?
We banned the live exports from Britain to the continent. That's a 50-year campaign. We got it banned last year. So hats off to everyone that was involved in that.
Yes.
But Miriam, you're so right that there are still big facets of the long-distance transport trade in animals going on. And what you're referring to, I believe, is the start by Brittany Ferries after 30 years of...
Yeah, don't go on Brittany Ferries.
Exactly. After 30 years of abstinence from the trade, they are starting taking animals from Ireland to the continent of Europe.
It's really horrible to see those poor, frightened beasts. We've seen them through the slats in the lorries as they get taken. I've seen it in Italy and in France, and less so now in England. But you can tell. I mean, when animals are scared, they don't taste so good. You see? I mean, I'm not in favor of eating them particularly, but it's not good for the meat when they're scared. It's something that you know in your heart. You know that to be cruel to another sentient being is wrong. It just is. It's a moral thing. And are we prepared to give up our decency in order to chomp on some chickens that have been reared in a battery cage, so close to the other chicken that they have to stand up? They can't move from side to side. Have you ever seen any of those films? I started to watch the one you sent me, and I couldn't bear it. I mean, we're all sitting, you know, you lot, you're all reasonably close to each other, but you can get up and move about and scratch yourself or call out or stand. But the birds in their cages, they can't. And particularly, for example, that horrible thing called pâté de foie gras. Does anybody here still eat pâté de foie gras? Because we're going to lynch you. We're going to put you through what the goose goes through. And you'll deserve it. You know, how exactly is it done? Their necks are kept stretched high. Yes. And somebody with a prod pushes food down their gullet for hours at a time in order to press the liver into delivering this delicacy, which is so prized by the wealthy. You know, I really don't like the wealthy. I want to be one, but I don't want to be like them. Can you understand that? Money is a cushion against discomfort, but it shouldn't give you the right to behave like a bastard. It shouldn't give you the right to treat another sentient being and to cause them pain. And I don't know how anybody could eat pâté de foie gras now. There is actually something in front of the Parliament, isn't there? They're thinking of banning it officially.
Banning the import of foie gras into Britain, yeah. So this is something that we're pushing for. But there have been many false dawns on this, so we need to continue to push hard.
False dawn. Push hard, which is exactly what the people who are prodding the food down the gullet of the goose. Prod, prod, push, push, so that you can taste something pleasant on your Sunday morning toast. God, it's vile. It really is.
It totally is.
I don't want to seem as if I'm holier than thou, because I am greedy and willful and try to close my eyes to the things that I feel I can't do much about. But actually we can. We all can do something about it in our own lives. Don't buy battery hens. Don't buy battery eggs. Burford Browns. That's what I buy.
Very good
Where
choice.
do I get them? Waitrose. It is a good choice, that, isn't it?
It is. It's a very good choice.
And I actually phoned up the organisation, the soil organisation.
The Soil Association.
Yes, the Soil Association, to find out which bits were okay, which bits do the right thing, who are the firms that are transgressing and who are not. You can do that, you know. It just takes a bit of effort. But it's worth knowing who is prepared to be cruel. I mean, we do think it's wrong, don't we? I'm not just pissing in the wind here. I want people to feel. It's not something that I can say that I'm better than anyone else, or that I feel more deeply than other people. But I believe that if enough of us complain, if enough of us take it on board and realize it is our responsibility, it is each person's responsibility. If you see somebody whipping a horse in the street, you would rush out and stop them. Well, I would. I remember when I was a little girl and I saw somebody beating a horse, I rushed out into the street and said, "Stop it, stop it, stop it." And they were so surprised, they stopped. And then I ran away. But I think that really all I can do is to exhort people to notice what they're eating. Look at the label. Look at what it says. Where does it come from? How far away? Is that right? I mean, does it say on the labels? Are they being honest?
Sadly, most factory farmed meat is labelled using terms like farmed fresh or country fresh and a whole range of other terms that are totally unspecific about how the production is.
So
it's
free
no
range
good.
is bollocks. That doesn't mean anything.
No, free range is good. So the good stuff is labelled free range, organic, pasture fed. The good stuff is labelled honestly. The bad stuff isn't.
But how do we know the difference?
That's the big thing, and that's the trouble. So the bad stuff is labelled like things like farm fresh, country fresh, and all these other nonsense terms. So we have to be really specific. And this is the guys the people that are running these factory farms and marketing the food from factory farms. They're no fools. They know that they can use these terms and will bamboozle consumers. So we have to be really clear that we're looking for free range, organic, pasture fed. What we're doing as an organisation is pushing for honest labelling, so that the bad stuff gets labelled too. If it's been produced in a cage, put produced in a cage. If it's intensively reared, put intensively reared, so that we know. Comes from a crate. Put that on the label. This is the way to give an honest choice to consumers.
Well, lots of things aren't properly labelled. Labour Party isn't properly labelled. The people I voted for, you know, I don't know what's happened. Awful mess. But, I mean, that's what I find as I've got older, that everything is all mixed in. We can't separate off from one thing from another. It doesn't work. Everything is political. The personal is political. Small, like me, is beautiful. I mean, that is the truth. We can't keep making everything more and bigger and faster and fatter. It's dangerous. We almost have lost our souls. I believe in soul. I don't believe in God, but I believe in souls. And I do believe that animals have souls. I have 2 cats. I'm absolutely certain that they have souls. And I believe what happened to my mic.
Oh, good question.
What am I doing?
Oh.
Have I sucked it into...
Let me just see if I can get it to... Oh, it's gone.
I've defeated the mic. Well, I'll just have to...
It's gone red.
Use my projection.
Yes, keep going. There we go.
Ah.
There we go. Is it still red? It's gone green.
Still red?
It's gone green again.
Good afternoon. Oh, it's
There
back.
we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, love. What did I do? I hit the switch. Ah. Well, I won't do that again, love, all right? I feel, you know, that I'm something of a fraud sitting here with you because I'm not a specialist at advocacy. I speak as I do because of what I feel, in a way not because of what I think. My heart is on display, not my brain. And I should probably couple the two. But why do I, for example, care so much about the Palestinians when I am a Jew and presumably would be supporting the Israelis in their murderous genocide? No, I can't do that because I'm a human being before anything else. And so are all of you. At least I want you to be. I want you all to be human beings, caring, thoughtful, watchful, defending people who have less than we do. Thank you. And it's very easy, you know, as you get more comfortable in life, as I have become. I mean, I've never been richer than I am now. I can't believe it. I do these cameo things, you know. People ask me to wish people happy birthday or give them a pep talk or speak at their wedding or something. Not people I know, you understand, people I don't know at all. But I get paid massive amounts. I didn't know it could be so easy. But you have to remember who you are and to tell the truth. I will never tell them a lie. I won't do it. And I don't want you to do it either. Because part of looking after animals and part of compassion is telling the truth, acknowledging that we are each other's responsibility. They don't all do that, those politicians. Garage, or whatever he's called, the wicked one. Shocking, isn't it? I bet he eats foie gras. I hope it fucking chokes him. And yet he seems such a personable, friendly, down the pub smiling guy. Arsehole. Wicked. I don't want to think about him. Let me tell you about what made me feel as I do about animals. When I was very little, my parents had dogs. And I thought that they were my brothers and sisters, my dogs. They were part of the family. They came with us everywhere we went. We didn't put them in, you know, places where when you go on holiday. What do you call those places?
Oh, kennels.
Kennels. Kennels, when you own a dog, that's like putting your parents in a home. Shame. Shame. I am very proud of my record with animals and with parents. But I had the money to do it, you see. I made enough money in America, when America was a human being, and I could afford to have nurses look after my father at home, in his own home, in my home, with me. I'm very proud of that. But you see, people forget that animals belong with you. Animals put their trust in you. Now, it's easy to be holier than thou. I'm thinking also about subsistence farmers who don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of animals. They just manage from paycheck to paycheck, from month to month. And a season that's bad can finish off the whole family. And how dare I, who have a lot of money, how dare I insist that they treat their animals well, that they don't beat them, that they feed them enough, when perhaps the subsistence farmer doesn't have enough for his own family? I don't know the answers, but I think the questions must be put. Farming is a way of bringing food to the people. But if the people don't watch how the farming is done, it can destroy them. It can poison them. It can poison the animals. It can poison the air, the atmosphere, the rivers, the trees that are removed, destroyed in the Amazon so that they can make great fields of animal feed for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what happens. That's why the trees are felled in the Amazon and people lose their homes, their livelihoods, their peace. It's so uncomfortable living today, isn't it? All these moral decisions, all these choices that we have to make. But we can make them. We can be very purposeful and deliberate about the food we eat, the fish we eat, the politicians that we send either to prison or to the House of Lords. Some of them belong in one and some in the other, you know. I met John Bird today, who started the Big Issue. He's in the House of Lords. I think he's probably a good bloke, actually. But then you get that long drink. You know, that tall man, very, very tall, with two names. You know what his name is, don't you? What is it? Lord Rees-Mogg. Jacob Rees-Mogg. It's a Welsh name, and I love the Welsh. What happened? Terrible man, terrible. Probably doesn't realize it, actually. I'm meandering, but I want you, each and every one of you, to think about the choices you make in the morning when you eat, in the afternoon when you have a cup of tea or something. Who has produced this? How has it been produced? And how many calves have been pulled from their mothers, the cows? And how often are the cows milked a day? And how are they milked? And how often are they artificially inseminated, the bulls and so on? I don't know all these sexual facts, you know. I've forgotten all of that. But each and every one of us, we can take it into our own lives and be aware we have a choice, we have a voice, and we should use it to help the world to be better. I know it sounds absurd, and lots of people think that I am an absolutely ghastly person because I swear and fart and tell the truth. I ain't changing, folks. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any questions about what I've said, or how can I defend what I've said, but I'm very happy. Yes, sir. I have almost gone vegetarian. I think it's called pescatarian, actually.
Yeah.
I like fish, and that's why I particularly care about smoked salmon. But I think I could go vegetarian because I just love vegetables so much. Oh, if you don't know about radishes, find out. Not only are they wonderful, the red bit, the round, peppery bit, but the leaves, if you take the leaves, when you buy them, say you buy them at the market, a farmer's market, keep the leaves and wash them and put them in a salad. They're absolutely delicious. And do you know, I only found that out about 3 weeks ago. And I'm nearly 84. I mean, it's pathetic. I had no idea that the leaves were so delicious. And the other thing that's, for me, just the best of all vegetables, leeks. Oh, I do want to recommend leeks to you. Leeks braised in the oven with a bit of oil. Oh my God, they're sensational. Really do try to, have a go at leeks. So I'm not a cook, you see, but I've got enough money to have someone to cook for me. And I'm always saying to her, leeks, leeks. She's Romanian, so she doesn't mind.
Brilliant.
Does anybody else want to? Yes.
A gentleman over here, please.
Hello. Oh, it's not working.
Would I call myself a feminist? Yes. I feel disgusted and shocked, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
And the babies are taken away.
Yes.
Normally straight as soon as they're born, and if they're male, they're normally killed within a week.
That is true. And I think it's awful. Honestly, until I started to get interested in this kind of thing, I didn't know that. I never thought about it. I never thought that a cow minds when her calves are taken away. I didn't think about it. I just accepted it. We have milk in the morning, and the milk comes from a cow, and I didn't think, but she makes the milk for her calves. That's why it's there. It's not there for us. It's there for her babies. So all of you who are mothers, imagine if your babies were taken away when you were still breastfeeding, but you had to keep breastfeeding. Breastfeeding for life, as it were. A pump applied to your nipple, day after day, until you died, until you were sent to slaughter, although I don't know that cows are slaughtered, are they? I think they are, yes.
They are.
It's not a great look, is it, for humans? Not at all. Stand up and speak up.
Let's, we've got some other questions.
I've got a bad leg, but yeah, basically the mothers are constantly re-impregnated, have another baby, the baby's taken away so we can drink the milk. If it's a female baby, they're both taken away straight away so we can have the milk. But if it's a female, it's kept for the herd to replace. If it's a male, it's normally killed, quite often shot on the farm the same day, or taken away sometimes for veal, so 2 months. But the babies are taken away from their mother straight away. 60,000 male cows were killed in this country in 2022, babies. And the mother normally is somewhere between 4 to 6 years. They're called spent. In other words, their milk production starts to drop. They also get osteoporosis because they're constantly losing calcium from their body. and they're then sent to the slaughterhouse as well to make burgers and cheap meat. And the normal lifespan of a cow would be somewhere around 20 to 26 years if you had it in a sanctuary, for instance.
When did you start to know about all this?
When I bought a farm.
So you are a farmer?
No.
Not anymore?
I converted it to a sanctuary. I couldn't...
Wow.
I realised that I couldn't profit from animals suffering. And these animals are no different to our pets. All they are is they've been classed as something else that we can exploit, abuse, and effectively kill for our taste pleasure.
Yeah. You are a far more effective speaker than I am on this issue. And I'm grateful that just by my being here, you've been able to have a voice and speak about it.
It's great that you're here because that raises the awareness for people. But essentially,
so.
We don't need to eat animals. We don't need to drink milk. Lots of dietetic associations around the world, including the UK, say that you can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet at all stages of life, okay, including pregnancy. But I think the key thing here is that as farming, there's a lot of farmers out there that need supporting to make the change, to go a different way. And there's a brilliant study called Poor and Nemesek.
Called what?
Poor and Nemesek, which is a global study into farming and agriculture, done by Oxford University, biggest global study anywhere, took 5 years to do, that shows the way forward where if we actually get transition to a plant-based diet, we only need a third of the land currently occupied for agriculture to produce enough food to feed everybody. And then the other 2/3 effectively can be rewilded and reforested, so we can reintroduce all the ecosystems and wildlife that we've decimated over the last 100 years. And also reforesting and rewilding would sequester about 15% of total greenhouse gases. So you apply that to there's about 15% total emissions in agriculture, generally around animals in farming now. We could actually save total greenhouse gases about 30% of the total greenhouse gases currently being emitted around the world.
Very important messages. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing those forward. In the interest of time,
Thank you.
In the interest of time, Miriam, do you want to bring in some other voices, if I may? Thank you again, sir, please. I know there was a question, gentleman, up here. Yes, further up. Yes. Okay, yeah. I have a question here,
A lady there.
please. Yes.
I beg your pardon. Speak up, darling.
We can feed 8 billion people. It's simple. And the fact of the matter is, there is no such thing as compassion in world farming. You're sat in front of a picture of some lambs there that will not get past 6 months in age. And they are not tickled to death when they go to the abattoir. They go to the same abattoir a factory-produced lamb will go to, and they get a bolt through the head. So when everybody sits down at Easter and has their lamb, it doesn't matter whether it says it's free range or factory or caged or whatever. It was at the point of death, frightened out of its life, with a bolt being put through its brain at 6 months old, when it could live, as the gentleman said, for 20 years. That's the same as us turning around and saying, sorry, Miriam, you're 84, you're not getting the parts you used to get. Thankfully you are. But you put out the seed. It's exactly the same. If we won't treat human beings that way, why do we treat animals that way?
We'll take that as the question. Thank you.
There is no answer, sir, to that rhetorical question, but I'm so glad that you made it and said it. needs to be said, needs it.
A question from the lady here, please.
Just wanted to thank Miriam for a great talk, and also to give us some pointers on what we can do. On that level, I wanted to ask Philip, what about the red tractor scheme? Is that something that's still used? Is it helpful or not at the moment?
So the red tractor is certainly still used by industry. I would say that it, in terms of animal welfare, it assures little more than compliance with standard legislation and guidelines. So what I would advocate that people do, if people do eat meat, then look for organic, free-range, pasture-fed, these kinds of terms. And for all of us to eat more plants and less and better meat. It is that less and better mantra going forward to give animals a better life that are in the system and take as many animals out of the system as we can.
Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Second row.
Thank you, Miriam. I could use my teacher voice, but I'm not going to. As somebody who has been a proud vegan for 20 years and has been vegetarian since she was 9 because she did research at school and found out about the treatment of animals, I think we all have to respect that everybody's on their journeys, and I'm really glad that you've been so open to hearing how other people have changed their lives. The question I want to ask is, in relation to schools, which are, although they're not doing it as much as they used to, but are still doing the hatching of the chickens, the hatching of the ducklings as a project for children to learn about animals. For those of us who are adults often know what happens to those animals afterwards. They don't, my niece was told they're sent off to a farm where there's going to be lovely hills, and I didn't want to break her 4-year-old heart. But what is it that we can be saying to the children about what is happening even within their own world and what they can do?
I don't know. I don't know what you say, because it, in a sense, it's the parents that you have to convince as well. But you can start at the school and say, have you ever thought about what it means to be a duckling or a chicken or a calf, a little animal, and then what happens to them? But of course there might be people at the school who would say, stop being an agent of propaganda. And I don't know what you do about that, except you fight for better people to be teachers. It's ultimately political, I think, as nearly everything is. But it is a fight. It is a fight. And it isn't easy. And I'm embarrassed in a way to be here talking about something that I don't know enough about, but I know I am on a path and I am learning. And when I saw what was going on in Tasmania, I just was furious. Apart from anything else, these great tanks of fish, they make a noise all the time. And people who live in Tasmania near those tanks, they can't sleep because it goes on relentlessly the whole time. And we all need our sleep. So it's not really doing anybody good except the people who sell the fish. And they're making scads of money. It does come down to that. We have to make a moral decision. And it's very uncomfortable sometimes. It's not easy. And I don't want to seem as if I'm goody two-shoes, because I'm not. But I'm worried. I'm worried about the future of all of us. And I'm worried about the future of animals. And I'm worried about the future of our decency, our sense of decency to each other. What has happened to it? How can it be, let us say, that in Gaza, that people Thousands of people can be killed, and nobody's doing a blind thing about it. Indeed, what about the hostages? Should they not also be released? Should they not also be treated with decency? Of course they should. I make no distinction about nationalities. It's the behavior that I care about. Let me say most vehemently, it gives me, as a Jew, no pleasure to castigate Israel. But when I see a country that deserves castigation, I will bloody well give it. It is another matter, but maybe connected, because everything, in a way, is connected, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
And we don't have to choose about goodness. Goodness, you know, my mother, whom I adored, she always said to me, Miriam, do the right thing. We all know what the right thing is, whether we do it or not. Even Mr. Putin's mother must have said that to him. Well, he doesn't do the right thing. And I wish I could deal with him.
And in terms of doing the right thing, Miriam, if you could change one thing in the way that society treats animals, what would that one thing be? What would you change?
One thing, well, I would stop the sale of them. I don't think animals should be sold anywhere. They should be allowed to be as we are, more or less. I would stop the sale of meat. That's what I would do. And this is something that is a little particular pigeon of mine. I would stop the advertising of food on television. I've made a lot of money in my life from advertising cigarettes, advertising food, sweets. My latest thing is not so terrible, Anusol suppositories. But possibly, if people had eaten less meat, they wouldn't need them. So I think that's what I would do.
And what gives you hope for a better world, Miriam?
Almost nothing at the moment. I am not optimistic. I used to be when I was young, but I am not now because the recent changes have been so widespread and so shocking and so fast. I don't know how to stem this tide of evil. I don't know what you do. It's just each person not voting the wrong way. In America, don't vote for Trump. Just don't. That's it. Here, don't vote for reform. Don't vote for the Tories. And then you have to say, don't vote for the Labour Party. That's upsetting to me.
And finally, in terms of animals and nature, with an eye on the time, what would be the message that you'd like people to go away from today with?
Oh, treasure our world, treasure our nature. Look at it as your own treasure, something that we share, but it is actually each person's. When you look out on a meadow, when you look at the sky, when you look at animals and you look at their eyes, don't want to kill them and shoot them and eat them and hurt them. Love them and cherish them and treasure them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miriam Margolyes, please.